Hi. Hopefully this is recording. Uh, what you're seeing here is we have a series of data, and it's a lot of data. We've got, first of all, different groups, and then we also have some different time periods that we want to assess overall scores at for here. So let's just give a quick overview of the data. Let's say we've got a professor and let's say she has three different classes, a class in group A, a class in group B, and a class in group C. And let's say that this instructor is trying out a different instructional style for each of these different classes. So she would like to see how this instructional style is affecting their students' scores in October, in November, and in December. So as you can see, we've got quite a lot of different kinds of data. What we would like to do is we would like to create a graph that summarizes the scores for each of these different groups of students in all of these different time periods. So first off, let's actually create a graph. So we're going to insert chart, and let's make this just your standard custom column chart because it's easy to read. It's not three-dimensional, and I hate three-dimensional things. Alright, so the first thing we'd like to do is we're going to go to Select Data, and this will take us to our Select Data page. And we're going to be adding some series. So the first series that we would like to add is for series 1. So we're going to edit the y values here. The y values we're going to select for series 1. We're going to let series 1 be group A for all of the different time periods. So we'll select group A's average in October, group A's average in November, and group A's average in December. Terrific. And we'll call this group A. Fantastic. We're also going to add a second series. So we're going to call this group B, and we're going to add the quiz averages for group B for all these different time points. So we've got in October, in November, and also in December. Fantastic. So those are ready to go. And finally, we're going to add a third one. It's going to be group C. We'll add the y values here. So this will be the quiz scores for group C at October, November, and December. Terrific. And finally, as you can see, we have our scores for group A, B, and C. Let's just add some category X labels so that we know what we're talking about. So of course, it's going to be scores for October, followed by November, followed by December. There we go. So right here in this chart, we can see we've got the scores for all three of our different groups. In October, don't do that, Quantum Web. Here, turn off Wi-Fi. For October, for November, and for December. Terrific. Let's just add a few extra things to make our chart the way it's supposed to look. So we'll add some labels. Make the chart title above the chart. So maybe let's call this quiz scores during fall term for 3 different teaching styles. Alright, let's add our vertical or y-axis title. We'll do a rotated title here for fun. So let's call this quiz scores, and we'll specify here that this quiz score is out of 20. And we will add also a horizontal axis title, and this will be month tested. So these are all the different months where these different groups of students are being tested. Let's make this chart a little bit larger so we can see some more detail. Fantastic. Now, the last thing that we're going to want to do with this chart is we would like to add some error bars to indicate the standard error of the mean for each of these scores. So what we're going to do is we will go to the chart layout, error bars. We're going to add some error bars. We're going to add error bars first of all for group A. Okay, so we would like these to be, let's make them in the positive direction only with a cap, and we will want them to be custom value. So we're going to specify, and of course we will select each of the different standard errors, the mean associated with group A for October, for November, and for December. And we don't have to worry about the negative error bars because we're not making them in this case. Okay, so there we have error bars for group A, and now we just continue on and do the same things for groups B and group C. So we'll go back to the chart layout, go to error bars, see what our options are. Again, we'll pick plus, and we want to customize the value. So we're going to specify this to be the standard error of the mean for group B in October, November, and December. Terrific. Okay, so those are good to go. And last but not least, we're going to have a look at the error bars for group C. Very similar process. We're going to go to the options. These will be only positive error bars. And we will select for October, for November, and for December. All right. And now we have not only the averages displayed, but we have a good idea of what the standard error of the mean is for each of these different groups. So what we're seeing in this chart, what it looks like to me, is that for group A, they're starting off with some pretty low quiz scores, but as they're progressing throughout the year, their quiz scores are getting higher and higher and higher, and eventually they're getting, this is actually quite a good quiz score. So it looks like for group A, the teaching style is causing them to improve over time. For group B, we've got sort of middling scores, and they seem to be mostly the same regardless of when it's tested. So maybe the teaching style for group B is not allowing students to improve their knowledge or their test-taking abilities over the course of the year. And then for group C, we have relatively high scores for all three of the test periods. So there's a few possibilities here. Maybe the class itself is just quite a strong class and isn't comparable to the two other groups. Or potentially the teaching style is really preparing students well for the quizzes early on in the year, and then their ability to do well in the quizzes maxes out at about this level throughout the rest of the year. So hopefully this should give you an idea of how to include sort of nested averages within your chart and graph a lot of different data, including different groups, as well as different sets of scores, all in the same chart. And this can, of course, be used for things other than just time lapses. So, for instance, maybe we wanted to look at, instead of time periods, we could have used these three different teaching styles for maybe an economics class, a psychology class, and a history class. And we could make a similar chart using those parameters. So hopefully this gives you some new possibilities, and good luck.